Vols are back.
Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, could be Wayne!
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!
I love it, baby!
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! By Tennessee to one Jennings. Jennings makes the catch. Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back is Sayre. And Tennessee can say hello, win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better. We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now.
I made up my mind. I don't expect to ever look back. I'm going to stay at the University of Tennessee.
Reddit did to do, and welcome into more important issues. It is Sunday, September 25th. Your Vols, our Vols, all Vols, 4-0 with a win over Florida. Man, feels good. It was very exciting, but it was almost more of a relief because of the end. But talk about being fired up going into bye week before going to Baton Rouge.
Yeah, you got to look at it as Tennessee won. It doesn't matter what the score is. Yeah, you're up 17 with 4 minutes to go, and Florida had a chance to win it at the end, but you beat Florida. That's all you can ask for. That's what you go into this game to be 1-0 at the end of the day, and Tennessee did that. A lot of things to fix, 100%. I think there is some stuff to fix offensively, not as many as defensively, but yeah, overall Tennessee won this ballgame. That's all you can ask for. That's all Tennessee fans should really talk about is, hey, we won. We won,
Yeah.
we won, and we won.
Yeah, you talk about, I don't want to harp on the things to fix, so I'll just kind of say this for that. Your bye week comes at a good time. I know it's a little early. You'd probably like it, especially your meat of the schedule gets late. But last night was emotional. Last night was, I told you, it'd be a slugfest. So it comes at an opportune time before you got to go on an away trip to listen, I think Neyland's the best stadium in the country when it's in form like it was last night. But before you go to just as, up there, an absolutely rowdy stadium, probably going to be a night game it's looking at after A&M beats Arkansas late last night. So to get that break, not just physically but also emotionally, kind of be able to go back to the drawing board, get some guys healthy, look at getting some things fixed. I think this is a real opportune bye week. I like the bye week.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's that health-wise. I think Tennessee just, Jabari Spall has been banged up. He looked a lot better yesterday with that shoulder kind of held up. Sorry, I just ate. I'm just burping everywhere. So yeah, he looked great, and I'm sure we'll talk about that when we get to guys who impress. But yeah, I think getting Cedric Tillman back will be huge. I think they need more depth at corner. They have some guys banged up, Warren Burrell and D. Williams, and you saw that yesterday. I mean, at one point in the game, you had Brandon Turnage and Deshaun Rucker at corner, and maybe you throw them out there to see if you could get anything else because the other two guys weren't getting it done either. But probably not exactly who you would want to go to in a game that close.
Yeah, and health is a big thing. Tennessee's been banged up. From that Akron game, really, but even since Pitt, there's been a couple injuries. So, yeah, definitely hope to get healthy. Man, my favorite thing about last night and this morning is just how mad Gator fans are. They're going to change the name from Crocodile Tears to Alligator Tears. It's been so embarrassing. They are crying. My favorite thing is they've tried to hang their hat on the recent history of it, but it just goes to show you history don't matter. You lost. They can say it now, but look at their response from last night, and you can tell it does not matter. This year's the only one that matters, and you lost.
Yeah, and I saw another thing, and I think it was on College Game Day when they were talking about the checker kneeling and everything like that, and how Tennessee's 1-4 checker kneeling. They haven't beat Florida in 5 games. We've talked about this on this show. This is a new team.
Yeah.
And maybe those previous teams find a way to lose that game yesterday. I know it seemed like Tennessee was trying to maybe lose it there at the end, but at the end of the day, they won the ball game.
Yeah,
Same with
absolutely.
Pitt. I don't even know if a year ago Tennessee wins that ball game.
No, it-
But this team has seemed to figure it out. They have their stallion at quarterback, and he's going to lead them to the promised land. I think Tennessee's defense for me was, especially in the first kind of quarter when Tennessee's offense was struggling a little bit. We not really struggled. They fumbled, and then but Tennessee's defense, Florida's driving. They stop them on fourth down. Florida drives again. They get a missed field goal. I thought that was two huge stops for Tennessee's defense. Even though when you're looking at it at the box score, you can tell defensively, hey, this is horrible.
yeah,
And at times it was horrible. But
right.
those two stops are huge for Tennessee down the stretch.
Yeah, and one thing I'll kind of give credit to Billy Napier in Florida is not only going for it on fourth down, but making the most of their opportunities there. I'll give him that credit because it's hard to. You feel like you just got off the field. You get, several big third down stops. They were 7 of 15 on third down. So several big third down stops, and now you're out there for another play, and that's deflating. And then couldn't find ways to get off the field. And I told my brother during the game, kind of turned to him, and I said, "Man, this defense isn't playing. They're not playing great. They're not playing terrible though. They were very much in that bend don't break attitude for a lot of the drive, and then Florida gets an extra down because they are going and being effective on fourth down, and that's a heartbreaker, man. That's tough to do. But I think the biggest credit to them is Florida outgained you in yards, and you still won.
Yeah.
So bend don't break was alive. I don't love that, but bend don't break was alive and well. That turnover in the fourth quarter, huge. Really, you can count the interception at the end. It wasn't going to be caught by any Florida player if Kamal doesn't catch that. So if you want to say we won the turnover battle, you can. But if you watch the game, Tennessee didn't necessarily win the turnover battle. But if you don't get that one, that game could be a lot different. The one that mattered. So that's a big play by your defensive line, of course. And speaking of turnovers, you mentioned the Princeton Fant one. How much different is that game if Tennessee defense comes up big on fourth down in the first drive? How much different is that game if they go score?
Yeah, that, and I think the next one where Tennessee kicked a field goal, Jacob Warren had a pass, and it might have been a little behind him, but your hands are on it. You got to catch it.
It was a little behind you, and I would say you got to be aware of where you're at. I think Hendon wanted him to. I haven't got to watch the game yet. I don't know if we should break the kind of fourth wall here and just let you guys know we had to record earlier in the day. Landon's gonna make fun of me again for the 8th time. I got to go to a wedding tonight, so I haven't had a chance to watch the game other than highlights. But in the moment, I thought Hendon wanted him to sit down in that space and just catch it. So yes, he got his hands on the ball, but I think it even goes a little bit farther in going. You just got to know where you're at on the field too.
Yeah, and then later on when Tennessee, I think this is third down, and then we don't get on fourth down either. But Hennon's rolling right, and he has Jacob Warren just sitting wide open. And I think there was just that disconnect there where he's expecting Jacob Warren to just start running. Like, I'm going to hit you in stride. And Jacob Warren just still sits there, and he misses him wide open.
One thing, and this is rule number one as a receiver. In this situation, I know he's a tight end, but he's a receiver. He's downfield. When your quarterback rolls out, you run to him. And the first steps Jacob took was away from Hendon, and that hurt it. That hurts it. So, yeah, when you see your quarterback roll out, you got to get to him. Running away from him, making him throw across his body, it's not good for either of you guys. So, yeah, you just got to be aware of where you're at on the field, what's going on the field, and give your quarterback a better chance to make plays.
Yeah.
The tight end play wasn't fantastic yesterday. They did have a couple big plays. I believe it was Warren that had that little wheel route downfield on the first play of the drive going into half, right?
Yeah, that's another thing I want to point out is just dialing it up. We talked about it before the game on the Twitter space on Friday. Tennessee's offense, no matter who's on the field, they're going to get some people open.
Yeah.
And I think that's true for Ramel Keaton. It was true for Jacob Warren,
Hey.
Brew McCoy.
Ramel Keaton stepping in for the biggest, production wise and just your go-to safety net and Ramel Keaton. So I didn't mean to interrupt you, but claps
No,
up
you're
for
good.
Ramel Keaton. Just a great performance from him, especially that one play there.
Yeah, I think it was number 3 on like the top plays from yesterday in college football. So
Jacob Warren's was to open the second half, right? Sorry. Ramel Keaton's was the last play of the first half, or last drive of the first half, excuse me.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. Okay.
Yep. And what a kind of step on the throat moment to go to, halftime, score that last touchdown with what?
3 minutes left, I think.
No, it was like seconds
Minute and a half.
left.
The touchdown to score.
Yes.
I thought you meant the drive. I thought the drive was actually pretty long. And that's kind of another thing I want to comment. I think me and you talked about this after the game. I talked about it with somebody after the game. I was really impressed with Tennessee's ability to change pace yesterday. To kind of know the moment. I know Josh Heupel wants to go fast, and it's hard not to go fast because it was a 2-minute, 43-second drive, which Tennessee probably, if they wanted to talk about dialing it up, if they wanted to, they probably could have scored in a minute.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at with this team is like I don't think they do a great job of. I think it's fine when they slow down. Like their plays aren't bad. What's bad is the offense is not in a flow, so you're getting dumb penalties that put you in a hole.
Yeah,
and then you're teetering on a delay of game. You're having to take a timeout. You get a false start. I mean, there's just too many things in there where I'm like, this team hasn't figured out how to bleed clock. So yeah, I don't think anything bad about the entire offense. I just think this team isn't set to do that. So my argument to it would be, hey, just go score. I mean, when in doubt, go score points. You didn't have any trouble doing that yesterday. You didn't have to punt a single time. Why just go score?
Yeah, I think yes, the penalties did happen there. I think the problem more comes is when you try to slow down and just run the ball. And I know you have to run the ball, keeping defenses honest, opening up some plays. I know that has to take place. So don't. But I think you can run your offense and still take your time with the line of scrimmage. Because that's my only holdout of that last drive is I felt like you got away from not only your pace, but also your offensive identity as a whole. I feel like you got away from. You don't have to hand it to Jabari or Jalen and go up the middle on that last drive every time. You want to run the ball, run the ball. Put it in Hendon Hooker's hands. Run an option play. Keep that. If you're going to run the ball, keep an identity to you, I think. So, yes, I think, slowing it down is part of it, but I thought they did a good job. I mean, for example, that last drive, 2 minutes, 43 seconds. The fumble drive was 3 minutes and 15 seconds. I mean, wait, no, sorry. The fumble drive was 2 minutes, but you hadn't scored yet. So, yeah, I think the chances were there. I mean, I think they showed an ability to, when you need to work the clock, they're never going to have 7-minute drives.
No.
5-minute drives, which is fine. But going into the half, if you can score a touchdown and bleed 3 minutes from the clock, that's great.
Yeah. I would just like you kind of said in a video after that fumble that Anthony Richardson had, leave no doubt. If your offense isn't built to slow it down and bleed clock, hey, just run your offense and go score.
Yeah, and I would say at that moment, based on the what a touchdown would mean there, go score. If that's a 20-point game at that point, yeah, try to bleed your clock.
Mm-hmm.
But go and even in a 20-point game, with the way Florida's offense has been producing, go score. Even if it's a one-play 15-second drive, go score.
And we knew Anthony Richardson was going to have a career day against Tennessee. It's just, what this rivalry does to Florida quarterbacks. But I just don't think the defense made it very difficult on him. I know we got to him a couple times, got some hits on him. They didn't run the ball very well, and that was kind of the game plan for Tim Banks is, make him throw it. Mm-hmm. He had, 20 incompletions? So, or he only completed 50% of his passes. But those passes went for huge chunks of yards the majority of the time. Or Tennessee got in 3rd and long pretty often, and Florida was able to convert. They were 5 of 6, I think, on 4th down. So Tennessee just couldn't get off the field with Florida, and that was mainly due to the secondary. They're playing off, which doesn't make sense. The linebackers dropping in coverage is slow and not great.
Yeah, I don't even think it's all on the. I mean, yes, it's the secondary too, but the linebackers were not great. They didn't. You've got to have help underneath, especially when they drop back, and you didn't have that help underneath, which does.
Corners were terrible coverage wise, and they couldn't tackle. That one where that I don't know who it was, maybe a tight end.
I don't know. Kamal and their first
Trayvon,
right?
yeah. Kamal tries to strip it. I mean, that was just abysmal.
Yeah.
You already missed a tackle, and then you try to strip it and miss another one. That was just bad football. Yeah. I don't think you can be that bad at corner because, I mean, I don't think your safeties are hurting you, but they're not playmakers.
They didn't do where they really struggled yesterday too. The safeties was outside the hashes. We got killed outside the hashes too.
And a lot of that is your corners. I get that.
Well, yeah,
but your safeties aren't there. Like, they're not gonna make up for a corner making a bad play.
Oh yeah, but when you're getting beat outside the hashes on a corner route and cover 2 or whatever, a cover 2 look, whatever it may have been, that's not good.
Yeah.
And a few of them Richardson missed on, so maybe just one of them.
Yeah, he missed some throws.
And a lot of them were due to pressure, and that's another kind of credit to, I'll just say, the defensive line, because most of the day it was 4 or 5 guys rushing.
Yeah, I mean, even on that Hail Mary attempt, Byron Young got him around the leg, so he couldn't throw it to the end zone.
Right.
Because, God, if he threw it to the end zone, I mean, there was little doubt in my mind that it was going to be called by a Florida player.
This team's different, so I was trying to hold out hope. But yeah, it was.
Yeah, I was ready to hurl myself over the I know we've preached that this team's different, but man, we went from 16 to where, hey, we're just going to step on their throat at the end, to 17 where they have a chance to throw a Hail Mary and win the ball game.
No, for sure, and I do kind of want to silver lining this a little bit because it was a win. People call this Tennessee's Super Bowl. Florida threw everything they had and the kitchen sink at Tennessee. They went for it on just about. They punted 1 time. They went for it on 4th down 5 times. I mean, they gave Tennessee everything they had, and Tennessee still won. That's going to be the best game. I'll say it right now. Unless Florida shows up for Georgia because it's another rivalry and plays them tight, this will be the best game Florida plays all year.
100%. I mean, there's no reason why you make a quarterback take that amount of hits, and on quarterback design runs. It wasn't just like him just in the flush out of the pocket. It was quarterback design runs over and over and over again, mostly on those 4th downs, where he's taking a hit, and you don't have a backup quarterback. Right. He was out for the game, so that was Florida's Super Bowl, whether they want to admit it or not. I mean, the hissy fit that Billy Napier threw on the sidelines, that told the whole story.
On our last offensive drive, he comes onto the field to argue with the line judge. They get him off the field. He goes down the sideline and argues with the back judge during the play, and they don't flag him.
He only gets one. You only get one flag.
You only get one of those?
Yeah, okay. One challenge flag, one penalty flag.
That's fair. And then he loses his mind about the review. I liked him a little bit before, but he's which I think
it really benefited Tennessee that he got that penalty, because I don't understand why we had to burn a timeout for them to review that goal line play.
Gonna review it. They weren't going to. I don't know how they did. I don't know what made them finally decide. They got everybody back on the field
and still got it wrong.
I didn't see. Someone told me there was another replay that if you watched it longer, you see him he appears and you see him get pulled out of the end zone. I didn't see that. The first one I saw, you cannot see where the ball's at. You can see Jabari's waist, and he's clearly leaning forward. And I think based on that, you should be able to say a touchdown. But by rule, again, I only saw the one angle that they apparently we only have one angle on the Jumbotron, guys. No, sorry, we have 2 angles. But in both of them, Jabari was hidden. And I knew they were going to go with what went on the field when I saw those.
Well, I mean, I don't remember all the angles on Anthony Richardson's one where they reviewed it and say it was a touchdown, but it was kind of like the same thing.
Yeah, which the moment I saw that review, touchdown, easy.
Yeah, I thought the same.
But
and the moment I saw Jabari, I was like, okay, yeah, it's a touchdown.
Yeah. Wow.
But whatever, we got the benefit of the doubt. Billy Napier helped us with that. We got first down and scored on the next play, so didn't really matter. There was a phantom holding call that called back a touchdown.
Yeah, what in the world?
And then we score on the next play. It doesn't matter.
That was which is funny. I've seen Florida fans complaining about the refs, and I didn't think they were great, but I didn't think they were great for either team. Sorry, I thought they were piss poor for both teams. I don't need to be political about it. But I also didn't think, because Tennessee ended up scoring on that holding call, after that holding call, that doesn't impact the game. The only thing it really did was take more time off the clock. So I guess it helped us. But
and we got more yards out of it. So
right. There you go. So I don't I didn't think they were so bad that they impacted the game.
Yeah.
Well,
I agree with that.
Unless if Billy Napier hadn't bailed them out, they might have, but Billy bailed them out. Billy Bill. No, man, but what a freaking environment, too. I don't think we talked enough about that. I mean, Checker Nealon, gorgeous as ever. People wanted to say they'd look bad because of the upgrades. You're an idiot if you said that. Jumbotron didn't matter. Party deck was in white. Still looks gorgeous. It was awesome.
Yeah, I loved every second of it. I loved at the end where they're doing the Jaws thing, which doesn't make any sense anyway. That's a movie about a shark. But hey, whatever you want to do. But I love that Tennessee fans started doing it to them.
I wish we had waited on the Gator Chomp. Came a little too early for my taste. Game wasn't over yet.
It should have been.
If we were up 30 at that point,
yeah, it should have been.
Gator Chomp. Do it. The whole stadium. I mean, it was funny to see the whole stadium do it. That's just an ultimate troll job.
Yeah.
And I love that Florida fans are calling it trashy.
You do it.
You do it. You do it. I don't get it. And I'm glad they didn't flag Jalen for the Gator killer move. That would have sucked.
Oh man, that's electric. His
was cleaner than John Kelly's. I love John Kelly's. But
is it because he didn't get flagged?
No, his was just he had the little head bob with it. Maybe the dreads coming out help it. I mean, Gator killer.
It was at home too. That probably makes it a little better.
Yeah, it was at home. Yeah, I love that environment. I don't remember when it happened in the game. Bam was back in their seats, but there was one time it was so loud I could not hear the band playing Rocky Top, and then it quieted down, and they were like in the middle of the song. I was like, oh, they've been playing Rocky Top this whole time.
Yeah.
That's how freaking loud that place was. And I was telling someone, because they were like, I didn't think the stadium was that loud. And I'm like, well, you're an idiot, and you probably weren't there anyways, but you're an idiot. And it wasn't Oklahoma 15 loud. Oklahoma 15 loud was before kickoff till we got Butch Jonesed. It was loud as crap. Couldn't hear, couldn't talk, or didn't know you were talking, couldn't hear yourself. It wasn't sustained loud, but it was every bit as loud as Ole Miss, probably louder than Ole Miss last year at times.
Well, I think it's hard to sustain that because of, number one, your offense. There's just you're just not getting like the updates and through the PA announcement as you would a normal offense. So that might help it a little bit.
I think too. At the game, Oklahoma and Ole Miss weren't on CBS. So but
it felt like every
3-minute TV timeouts.
It felt like every yard in that game was like tough to get.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, it was just a freaking PlayStation shootout.
Well, in Oklahoma, looking at like Florida's yards, I thought Florida's every yard was tough to get. I thought our fans were fantastic while we were on defense. I mean,
oh yeah, I agree with that. But like,
they still struggled in silent count.
The corners didn't help us out when we're that loud on third down and they pick up a 21-yard gain on a wide out open corner. That takes the sales out a little bit. So I feel like Tennessee's defense
they
didn't give them.
Tennessee fans didn't give up.
Yeah.
Games breaks go against you. We
I mean,
put on more steam.
But it was still a lot of fun, and still plenty loud.
Yeah, and
I mean, there was a Florida fan. I saw it on Twitter. He was like, "That's the loudest place I've ever heard in my entire life."
yeah, you should tell Anthony Richardson that, or Billy Napier, whoever said it. Billy, I think they both mentioned the loudness.
They said it wasn't that loud.
Well, they just said it'd be a little bit louder. And then Anthony Richardson, he had said he had played in the swamp before, which is a dumb.
Well, didn't they also said they had a great game plan for Hendon Hooker? And
yeah, one of the defensive players said that. So, yeah, that didn't work because I thought that third down where Hendon pretty much gets sacked, gets out of the pocket, gains a lot of yards. I don't know what the number is. Mm-hmm. That was the most Josh Dobbs play I've ever seen, and it wasn't Josh Dobbs doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, he even moved like Josh Dobbs on that play. I was like, that is Josh. They suit him up. So.
Yeah, I think Josh Dobbs is faster than Hendon Hooker, but I think Hendon Hooker.
Smoother.
Yeah, maybe that's the right word.
Hendon kind of looks like he's.
But Hendon has that little just jitter to him.
Yeah,
you know, he's got the stop on a dime where I don't think Josh Dobbs had that.
I would like to see Hendon, and this is a Josh Dobbs thing too, go down a little bit earlier. You don't need to take all those hits for an extra yard.
It's Florida, baby.
Unless it's at the.
It's just different.
Unless it's at the line to gain,
it's different.
It is. I mean, that's you talked about if Florida Tennessee was like a Tennessee South Carolina or even like a Tennessee Ole Miss, and it's the same two teams lined up across from each other. I like Tennessee to cover. When it's a rivalry game like this, 10.5, 11 points, that's a lot of points to cover.
Mm-hmm.
So,
weren't we a 19-point underdog last year, and we were a 10-point favorite this year? I mean, what a turnaround!
Swing. And that's another thing I've seen a lot of. Florida
probably has a lot to do with Florida, but
well, I mean, I've been saying the Florida cupboard is bare for Billy Napier right now, like for sure. But let's not pretend Josh Heupels isn't that bare either. He's in year 2, guys. Last year you had 70 scholarship players. You did not replenish everything.
No.
We talked about it. We like our depth better than Florida's, but our depth still isn't where it should be. So to pretend that it's just Florida completely outmatched, I know we're 10-point favorites. I think that line was high. It's not because of Florida's roster as a whole. Like, that's not the only reason. Yes, Tennessee's a little bit better, but Tennessee isn't where it should be yet, roster-wise.
No, 100%.
So, get out of here.
And Tennessee had over 550 yards total offense, and one of their best players didn't even play.
That's a good point, too.
I mean, he's top 2 best players for sure on that offense.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. It was a great
game. And I think that needs to get into account. I know we're going to talk about guys to impress, but I want to go ahead and get to the Hendon Hooker Heisman candidacy. That should be taken into account. His number 1 target wasn't even there. His security blanket wasn't even there. The guy that had 18 targets against Pittsburgh wasn't even there. Caught the game-winning touchdown against Pittsburgh. Wasn't there. What a job by Hendon Hooker. What a job by this offense. Alex Golish, Josh Heupel, Brew McCoy, Ramel Keaton, Jalen Hyatt. I mean, dogs.
And let me add to that thing. You mentioned number 1 target, safety net, leading most targets against Pitt. Also, at the end of the year, you're probably going to be saying he didn't have a first-team All-SEC wide receiver against Florida.
And I would probably say a decent O-line.
I think the O-line's played pretty good. I mean,
I agree, but I mean, they don't have the guys like Stetson Bennett and
they weren't Alabama last year for sure.
Right.
Or they aren't, I should say.
Yeah, Stetson Bennett and Bryce Young have a lot better offensive line than Tennessee does.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
So what a job by him. I mean, a point of emphasis in this game, we knew it would be, is Hendon Hooker's going to have to run the football. Mm-hmm. And he did that. He hit his career high against Florida. I think he's the first quarterback since Dobbs to rush for over 100 and throw for over 300.
Rush for over 100. I won't even need to verify that.
You're right. And pass for over 300. Yeah. Yeah, who else would it be? That's a good
Don't even
point.
need to double check.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna stop at rush over 100. Don't even need to verify that. We're good. Yeah. I know there's a lot of faults still on this team and a lot of things to get right, but I just don't know how you can't feel good about LSU. You can't feel good about Kentucky. You cannot feel great about going to Columbia and just putting it on Shane Beamer. And he's going to get to celebrate in the fourth quarter because we're going to have our twos in. So good for him. He'll get a touchdown celebration, and they'll probably win the fourth quarter. So, I mean, I guess that's good for him. We'll all win, Shane.
Yeah.
But I just looking forward at those games. I don't know how you can't feel good. And with the way this team fights, I still think the way the season lays out, I'm not putting Alabama and Georgia in a category Tennessee can win for a number of reasons. But with the way this team fights, I don't know how you can't feel good about having a ball game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll see. But
I mean, Tennessee's done it with a lot worse teams than they have right now.
yeah, for sure. And I don't like Georgia being away. Athens is a tough place to play, but it is one of those rivalry games.
I mean, Kent State put 22 on them. You know, I didn't watch that game, and I'm not, you know, I don't know exactly what transpired there, but I mean, that makes me feel a little bit better. It makes me feel a lot better that knowing that Kent State did that than, you know, seeing what they did to Oregon.
Yeah, that's a good point.
In that first game. So,
you get Alabama at home.
Tennessee's going to be a top 10 team. That's wild.
Tennessee's number 9 in the make sure I get this right. Coaches Bowl.
Okay.
Moved up from number 12 to number 9. Let's see. It just stinks. I thought if you handily beat Florida, you jump Kentucky. I wouldn't have a problem with the AP not doing that now. Just because Kentucky's been ranked ahead of Tennessee.
They're 7. Kentucky's 7, Tennessee is 8 in the AP poll.
Did they just release it?
Yeah.
Okay, I was about to say. So that makes sense to me. I don't have a problem with that. I do think if Tennessee handily beats Florida, it's reversed. It has to be, right? We can talk about hypotheticals. Okay. But no, I understand that voting system. I think it would be dumb for Tennessee to jump Kentucky right now, personally.
I agree with that.
I know Kentucky didn't look great yesterday for most of the game, but I think it's dumb to put stock into those. Like, unless you lose, it's dumb to put stock into those games.
Well, and like, if Tennessee wins by 17 or 24 or 20, you know, maybe we have a different conversation. Right. But you beat a team you were projected to beat. So I'm sure that has to take into account as well.
Yeah.
I will want to throw Northern Illinois lost to Vanderbilt. So I do want to just throw a little shot at Kentucky there too.
I'm okay with taking shots. Don't mishear me. I'm 100% okay with taking shots. Don't. We can talk that trash. That's fine with me. So did Oklahoma move down to? I'm trying to pull it up.
I do not. I don't have it in front of me anymore.
Okay.
I am currently.
ESPN hasn't updated their website yet. Which makes sense. They haven't gotten released yet, or if it just got released, excuse me. So Tennessee moved up 3 spots in what'd you say we are? 8?
Yeah, we're 8. Yeah.
Yeah, so 3 spots in each poll. Pretty nice jump. They moved. What was I have to look at the coaches poll. So Oklahoma dropped back to 18th.
Yep.
How do you put A&M ahead of them?
They beat Arkansas.
They lost to App State. How are we forgetting stuff that happened 2 weeks ago?
I don't.
Who is voting on this? Utah is at 12.
Yeah, that's wild to me. I don't get that one.
What? Baylor is still at 16.
Yeah. Are they just saying got to get in the back of the line?
BYU is at 19. What are we doing?
It's got to be what it is, right?
What is that?
Get in the back of the line. after you lose one.
I guess. I don't get it. I did forget Kansas State did lose to Tulane. But the difference is Oklahoma didn't lose to Tulane. A&M did lose App State. That is insane to me.
App State got beat yesterday too.
Yeah, they did. They were up like 23-3 at one point. Something like that. Speaking of that, speaking of the game day environment, I want one of two things. And one you can fix by Alabama. I want either Wi-Fi in the stadium, or I want score updates. You have so many dang video boards. Score updates at commercial breaks. I don't want to be on Twitter. I don't need to be on Twitter. I want to see the scores of college football. I want my ESPN app to work. That's it. I don't feel like that's asking too much.
I don't get it either. I mean, I do want to apologize. Like, I know we usually give score updates, but my phone doesn't work, and I got called out last week when I tried to send off a tweet, with a score update, and it went out 30 minutes later, and they're like, "Well, this guy's drunk." Well, I can't help it. I'm in the stadium, so.
I think you should just put them all in your drafts, and when we get
just let them all go at once.
All go at the same time. I think you should do that. Yeah, I do. That'd be funny. But yeah, no, the AP is stupid. Clemson didn't move, and I know they won. But what are we doing? How does Oklahoma State? I mean, they didn't play. It's just okay. They just moved up when Oklahoma dropped. The coaches poll dropped them back to 16. They did. The coaches poll at least kept them ahead of A&M. Didn't Butch Jones on the coaches poll this year?
Yeah, I think he is.
He lost to Old Dominion last night. Or not, Old Dominion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or is that who App State played?
Yep.
Who did App State?
He won me some money, so I appreciate it.
I bet on Old Dominion to cover 4.5. I think they won by 3.
Oh, I bet on just to win there in a parlay for me. Not great on picks, actually.
1-4 this week. And
same.
When I went back and looked at it, the problem was what I messed up on is I took touchdown spreads in tough games. Yeah, 2 tough games, and I shouldn't have taken them. That's my problem. So I'm an idiot.
USC Vegas was trying to tell us that USC was not going to cover against Oregon State, and what an ugly game that was.
I didn't watch any of it.
I stopped watching it. It was 17-14 was the final, and
I fell asleep. I was exhausted. I fell asleep during the Kansas State Oklahoma game, so I didn't even see that final until the morning.
Yeah, that was bad too. Not a great game from Oklahoma. Defensively. Yeah, maybe.
Speaking of hot seat, is Scott Frost re-hot seated after Adrian Martinez goes to Kansas State and beats Oklahoma? Is Nebraska and Scott Frost are officially on hot seats as a whole?
They should be.
Yeah. So
they should be.
To see it. You love to see that transfer happen. Speaking of transfers, I'm gonna go back to Tennessee. Brew freaking McCoy. That boy's got a dog in him.
He's so good. And I still don't think he's utilized enough.
No, and I think he is. I think he's a victim of wealth. There's just so much wealth around him.
But I think he just wasn't utilized, and Tennessee didn't have to punt. So, it's just me being a wide receiver homer, I guess. But, I mean, he tore them up in the first half.
Yeah.
And I don't, in the second half, you didn't really see a whole lot of them. And I think the same with Jalen Hyatt. But then again, this defense kind of takes what they give them, and they got the tight ends more involved. We saw some running backs involved in the passing game with Jabari Small. You're able to run the ball more efficiently with Jabari Small and Hendon Hooker because Florida just, I don't know, they can't stop anything.
Well, and Brew impacted the game more just than catching. He had a great block. I'm sure he had more, but one that stood out to me was on that Jalen Hyatt screen.
Yep.
I mean, just a phenomenal block that he made because nickel, corner, whoever came up and tried to make that play made a phenomenal play. He was just met by a more phenomenal play by Brew
And credit to Josh Heupel and Alex Golesh for setting this up, but they did like the fake block and get off, and that's why he was so wide open on that one play.
Yeah.
Is because he is so physical that defender has to like, oh crap, here we go again, and then he runs right by him.
I like that he's just a faster. This is nothing against our boy Juwan. I mean, JJ Jet playing, you love him, but he's just a faster Juwan Jennings. I know he's wearing 15, so that probably makes me think that even more. But he's big and physical, and he wants to hit. He's
a lot smoother than Juwan.
Yeah.
Now Juwan's just different.
Hey, I think Brew's getting into dog territory.
But he doesn't show it emotionally.
No.
Whereas like the emotions just spilled out of Juwan Jennings.
Juwan's evolved for sure. Like he's no doubt about where he wanted to be. And that's not against
Juwan's just a great football player. I don't know how great of a receiver he is.
Yes.
But he's just a fantastic football player.
Right. And
now Brew McCoy looks like a dang good receiver.
Yeah, well, you talk about the passion. That's not saying Brew McCoy doesn't want to be at Tennessee. Don't mishear me. Juwan just grew up in Tennessee, wanted to play at Tennessee, wanted to be at Tennessee so bad that he was willing to move positions to be at Tennessee and do whatever he needed to do to help the football team win.
Yeah, I will say this, that I think it was after the game where Brew McCoy's like, I made the best decision of my life in coming here. I mean, that's just awesome to hear. And I think it again, I tweeted this after Akron or maybe Pitt. How does, if you're a wide receiver in this country, how in the world do you not look at Tennessee and be like, dude, I want to play in that offense?
Spreading this wealth around, seeing these guys get the yards they're getting. I mean, I don't think Tennessee could get him away from Ohio State, but you're probably keeping your name around with Carnell Tate.
Oh, for sure. I mean, definitely got to get him on campus, and we'll be talking about it a little bit more. The rumors will start flaring out, but
I mean, the rumors have even started already before seeing
all
the other guys besides Cedric Tillman get the targets. Now
apparently he talks with Tennessee, but you gotta get him on campus to see if that's actually something you could possibly do. But I know Ohio State they're doing a lot offensively that Tennessee's doing. So, but man, they got guys running butt naked down the sideline against Florida in a rivalry game. I don't know. They got checkered. What's that? The shoe.
The shoe. The horseshoe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they checkering that thing?
No, the coolest thing they have, and as a band guy, I love it. But the only cool thing they have, football team's not even on the field for it, is dot in the eye.
Well, you're a huge Ohio State fan because you named your dog Brutus after after the Ohio State.
I didn't name my dog. I just love my dog. There's a difference. There's a difference. Also, the story about him getting named is hilarious, absurdly hilarious.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about recruits because it was a big weekend. I know mostly for the 24 class, but big weekend as a whole. But before we do that, I know we've talked, kind of bounce some guys around that we love seeing, but just name them guys who impressed.
Yeah, guys who impressed for me, I think Jabari Small, just getting him going was huge. He looked kind of that old Jabari Small when he had that 40-yard run in the game. He looked good, catching balls out of the backfield.
And that 40, did I correct it? It was the 40-yard gain to open the half. It was the Jacob Warren's catch was it Princeton Fant? Jacob Warren's catch was to open our first drive of the fourth quarter.
Okay. Yeah.
I think after the fumble was Jacob Warren's catch.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I thought he really impressed me. I think this is a good bye week for him to get that shoulder healthy, before LSU. I think it showed yesterday that Tennessee's best running back is Jabari Small. We just haven't seen it up to this point.
Right.
I thought Jalen Wright did fine, but Jabari Small, had that extra gear in him yesterday. I don't know if it was just Florida, whatever it was, but hey, if he needs some tackling fuel or whatever for Bobby Boucher, just picture LSU in a Florida uniform, whatever you got to do.
I like that. I like that. I'm gonna go receiver here. Hopefully I don't, because I'm gonna double up. I don't want to steal from you. It's Brew McCoy is the obvious kind of candidate going for 100 yards, 5 receptions, that huge touchdown in the half. But you gotta love what you had out of Ramel Keaton. I mean, first off, the top 10 catch, but also just coming in big to fill, and you play a good ball game. I mean, very impressive to see. Helps build that trust. So you might have bought yourself some more playing time, some more targets with your game yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw it in Pitt. Like, they didn't play anybody besides those 3 guys, and Ramel Keaton played a little bit. I think that was huge for Ramel Keaton. He now has that trust in the offense, whereas Cedric Tillman or Brew McCoy is a little bit slow or they're a little bit tired. You should be perfectly comfortable putting Ramel Keaton in and knowing what he's going to give you.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Ramel Keaton gets a lot of, he's not very fast. But yesterday he broke some tackles. He ran up the sideline. That catch that he made was incredible. I mean, he looked the part.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And was a huge part in that game. I know he impressed but he was a huge part in Tennessee winning that football game. All eyes were kind of on him from the start. I mean, that's pretty big expectations to come in there for Cedric Tillman, and he did a phenomenal job.
Yeah. You have. I can go defense real quick. I'm going to give this one to the whole. No one really stood out all on their own. The whole defensive line. I mentioned it earlier. They were kind of left to their own to get pressure on Anthony Richardson, and not only were they were able to kind of hold their own there, but they also did great in the run game. I know Florida kind of still got theirs, but not a ton of. I think most of the breakout runs were Anthony Richardson getting out of the pocket and going, or like you said, those designed quarterback runs. Pretty much any time their number one guy, Trevor Etienne, got the ball, he was kept in check. I think his long was 14 yards. So
yeah, that was their long for the game. It was 14 yards.
Yeah, so go ahead. Which, I mean, there you go. I mean, linebackers too. If he's getting past the second level, linebackers or first level, linebackers got to make a play. But I just thought especially in the, in between the tackles, just a great game from our defensive line. Amari Thomas looks like a monster. Talk about wreaking havoc on guards and centers. Yeah,
that's my next one is Amari Thomas. 5 tackles, forced fumble, 2 quarterback hurries. I just think he's a force that Tennessee loves up front, and he's making his presence known in these past couple of games that he is Tennessee's probably best interior defensive lineman, and he's super athletic. Like, he's way more athletic than he looks. That play that he made on Anthony Richardson, it wasn't at the line of scrimmage.
Right.
Like, Anthony Richardson was past the line of scrimmage. He had to run him down a little bit to get to that. And that was a huge play in the game. So, yeah, I'm going to give it to Amari Thomas. Another guy that I really liked offensively, and we've kind of mentioned him, Brew McCoy. I know that he had that long catch, but, that play that he made in the back of the end zone right before the half was incredible.
I love that play call, too.
Yeah.
I don't like taking away half the field a lot, but I just thought they set it up nicely.
Yeah, it worked out.
Yeah.
You're always going to look good when it works, right?
Right. Well, I think it was more about I think he had 2 receivers, and then I think he probably had a good opportunity to run it in himself too. So play design as a whole, I thought was nice. Yeah, and I mean, nothing against guys we didn't name. I thought a lot of guys had some pretty good games. I like Juwan Mitchell's physicality. I know he lacked in some areas, but we talked about wanting to see the Big 12 leading tackler. I think we got a good glimpse of him yesterday.
Juwan Mitchell, yeah.
Yeah. So.
And
can he be that the rest of the season and be more? I hope.
yeah, I just think we're not seeing, and maybe this is just practice, but I'm not seeing enough of Aaron Beasley for me.
No, he's played so good. I agree with that.
Yeah, I need to see him a little bit more, and
I feel like we saw more of him in the first half, and I thought he played fine. I thought he played pretty good.
yeah,
And then just kind of went away for the most of the second half.
I'm not sure what it was. Was it because of Florida and them trying to run the football? Maybe, or maybe he's not as good in pass coverage. I don't know. But yeah, it's just weird that
Well, they don't have any linebackers that are great in pass coverage, so
correct.
you scratch it up.
So, but yeah, he was playing so well at the beginning of the season. I just don't know why we haven't seen enough of him. Another guy that really stood out to me was Joshua Josephs.
Yeah.
I'm not sure kind of where he stands in the pecking order of this defensive line, but I mean, he made the most of every opportunity he had. Had 2 quarterback hurries, a tackle. I mean, he was wreaking havoc when he was in there. Tyler Barron played a lot, and he only had 1 tackle. That's just not enough for me.
Yeah, and I don't want this to sound like I'm hating on the guys they rotated in. I think it was just situationally I didn't like it. We'd make a big stop on third down due to our defensive line usually and rotate all 4 out.
Yeah,
I didn't like.
There was one point in the game I'm like, why did you rotate those guys out?
Yeah, and I don't know who came. There's nothing against the guys that came in. I don't even know who came in that situation.
It was a hurry up situation on like 3rd and short or 4th and short, and you rotated everybody, and they're not even lined up yet, and they're trying to snap the football.
I thought as a whole, yes, and I thought as a whole defensively we looked very confused and disorganized for most of the game.
Yeah, God, especially in the secondary.
Yeah,
but yeah, pre-snap, yes, but
yeah.
the secondary looked confused all night long during plays too, which
hey,
that's got to get fixed. Again, hopefully this is an opportune time for the bye week, and they get some things fixed, get some guys healthy, like a D Williams or, but man, and Warren Burrell, but man, it looks rough.
100%. One more guy I want to give out a guy that impressed is Jimmy Holiday in the kick return game. Man, thought he was explosive. 2 big returns. Got you into great field position. I mean, that's what we need.
Yeah. Also, special teams as a whole. I thought they did well on kick return coverage.
Yeah, we got to figure out that onside.
Yeah, that wasn't that wasn't great.
You did good on the first one, and you still were outmanned. We couldn't get lined up correctly. And then the second one, you got to have guys that are willing to get hit and go up and get the ball.
Yeah. Yeah, no one really went for it, which like you're supposed to have at least one guy that's like, hey, if it's in your area, jump up and get the football, and just no one.
Yeah. Which I haven't gotten to go back and watch. I need to see that front. Someone missed an assignment too. I mean,
but
you don't. The guy didn't get touched.
But you didn't have to punt, so that punt looked good this week.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the key to it. We were talking about how it needs to get faster. Maybe that's the key. We just don't punt.
Hey, if you're the punter, you should never want to be on the field.
Yeah, great day for him. Perfect day for him.
I love when people talk about how they're the best punter in the country, and I'm like, well, you could just say their offense sucked too if you wanted.
Yeah.
And that's coming from a kicker, guys. I mean, you never want to be on the field if you're punting.
Right. Also, Hendon Hooker. We got to give it to him. Yeah.
Hemden. Tennessee.
I like that
too. Did you see that?
Yeah, Hemden.
Shout out PFT dropping bangers only.
I mean, who do you give it? I mean, I know it's going to take into account where these teams finish and who's winning, things like that. But you got to throw him in the conversation.
Well, here's the thing. He's put himself in the conversation. Heismans don't get one, even when you play big games like Florida in week 4. They get one in week 9 and week 10 against teams. And I know it's not that late, but teams like Alabama, teams like Georgia, they get one in those bigger moments.
Johnny
So-
Manziel, perfect example.
Yeah. So you gotta have these kind of games early in the season to put yourself in the conversation, and then you gotta win it in the games that matter, and it helps if your team wins it too.
Yeah. Here's the thing. At some point, like if you can't stop Tennessee offensively, I don't think our secondary plays a worse game than that, and you still
It's
won.
gonna be hard, yes.
Um,
Still won, baby. Oh.
So, so I'm just thinking like, at some point a team has to outscore Tennessee,
I mean,
and that's a big ask. I mean that offense, if they don't turn the football over, you don't give them that freebie with Princeton Fant. I think this game is over a lot quicker.
I gotta agree with that. I know it's hypotheticals, but I gotta agree with that.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out. I'm wearing my Vols soccer shirt. Big dub over Kentucky just now on the road,
Okay.
I believe.
Love
yes,
it.
on the road. Go get some dubs. We love dubs.
Love
Dubs
dubs.
only.
College football.
College football. Bad week for betting. Some crazy games. I guess that's all you can ask.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really nothing like really interesting to talk about in the SEC. I haven't gotten to watch it yet, but apparently just the meltdown by both. Apparently, Brian Harsons and Drinkwitz wanted to get fired this week because they tried to give the game away. Apparently, both teams. Arkansas A&M. What a just man. You got to feel for Arkansas's kicker. Just talk about a dong punch. He hit it off the top of the upright. I mean, he murdered that ball. Just compressed it. Very unfortunate. I did get home in time to watch pretty much that play only.
Dude, what about freaking Clemson and Wake Forest? Shout out Sam Hartman. I mean, he's got to throw his name in the conversation too. Against that defense, 20 for 29, 337 yards, 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That's pretty freaking impressive.
Yeah.
Now, their defense is terrible. I mean, they let DJ throw for 371 and 5 touchdowns himself. But, I mean, I hope you took the over.
I did.
Nice. Was that your one lock?
That was not my lock. My win lock was TCU over SMU. Covering. That was over, but it was a nice one. So
I think my one lock was Cal.
I tailed that too, so I got that. Got to win. What about Middle Tennessee on Miami? Hey, I'm gonna at you right now because you argued with me about it for way too long. Matty Shreds. How about that swagger by Mario Cristobal?
Is that what he said? He said he's swag, and that's why they should win?
Well, he just said he liked him better than Heupel because Mario Cristobal had swag.
Oh.
Yeah.
How much swag does he have now?
I don't know. I'm kind of curious. Like, he obviously is lacking by at least 14 points of swag. Yeah. I don't know if it's more, but it's at least 14.
Yeah, that's a tough go. MTSU lost to James Madison earlier in the season, 44-7. So,
yikes. Kansas Duke. I wish College Game Day. I just wanted College Game Day at LSU so bad. I wanted to go, but it is what it is.
It's weird having it at when you throw a tailgate and have your own stuff to kind of go to. It's hard to kind of make that College Game Day with us apparently. But shout out to the tailgate, everybody who stopped by. We had a great time. Some great food. Shout out to my parents for making that happen, and everybody else who kind of contributed.
Jesse Berry as well for
throwing Jesse
on some pork. Austin White for sponsoring. If you're looking to buy, sell a home here, give him a call.
Yeah, not a better guy to buy or sell a home with. Just a dude's dude.
You did both. Speaking from experience.
I did both, yeah. He did it for me. Simple, easy process, and he just makes it happen. So if you want a simple, easy process, get a better home than you had previously, hit him up.
Yeah, do it right now.
Hit him up.
We're going to wait for you to do that. We'll continue here.
We'll wait. Moment of silence.
Any other? I know we've kind of talked about when we talked rankings. We also didn't mention that Florida's out, which, as we were leaving, there was a Florida fan talking trash about the previous years. I said, well, you can enjoy those 17 wins out of the top 25. And he said they weren't going to be out of the top 25. So.
I literally got told in the stadium that I wasn't a true Tennessee fan.
People are idiots, dude.
So that was great. I just don't understand people sometimes. It's like I've been drinking all day, and I'm nowhere close to as drunk as you. So I don't know what you did. But I mean, it was he poked my wife when she didn't like cheer enough, apparently. She didn't cheer on defense, and they got the conversion, and he basically blamed it on her.
Which makes sense. I mean, she could have stopped that from happening.
Yeah, right. She could have strapped on some pads and a helmet and made that happen. But and you know, my sister was sitting over there next to him, and they kept like just laying on her, and like they sit on her twice. They knocked this lady behind us. They knocked her water bottle out of her hands and like went all over, and just kind of like looked at her and laughed. I mean, it was just boiling until it got to the point where, my dad has to, add fuel to the fire a little bit, but he was like, you got to make plays if you want to win this game. Well, the guy just like turns around and just looks at me. I think he thought I said it. And I was like, what are you looking at? He said, you. And I was like, well, can you stop? And then we just stood up and kind of yelled at each other. And then the security guard came down there, and it is what it is. But, if there's some people in front of, like in between us, but if there wasn't, like he definitely would have been thrown off.
So did you have the high ground?
Oh, we were the same. Yeah.
No, same.
But
same row.
Yeah, I would have had the high ground very easily.
Yeah, I've had some people argue with me from lower, like try to fight me, and I'm like, you're gonna lose.
Yeah.
I'm standing above you. You're gonna lose. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which isn't often in my case because I'm short, but in this case, I do have the high ground.
Yeah, but it's like it's a Tennessee fan. He was like, I'm a season ticket holder. Who are you? I was like, I am too,
brother.
Also, I have cushions on my seats. You don't. You're sitting on the aluminum. How do you feel about that?
Hey, we don't diss that. Dude, there's 70,000 other season ticket holders in the stadium. You think you're special?
Yeah. I was like, I've been in the same seat. I was here the last time we beat Florida in these same seats.
And I hate to dish you because I sit in the Vestal part of Neyland, and I love it. But also, you're a season ticket holder in ZZ.
Mm-hmm. ZZ11.
You ain't paying much, buddy. You're not giving anything to the program. You're just paying to get in. So
right, and this is probably your first time being a season ticket holder, and that's why you're using that comment.
Calm down. You're not big bucks over here. You're good.
Yeah. Also, like, don't touch people. If you want to act like an idiot, go ahead. Don't touch people, and don't get. He was trying to he's like, everybody stand up, come on, just being so obnoxious.
There used to be a guy like that, maybe the same guy. He just moved up to the upper deck. That used to sit 10 rows ish in front of Jesse Berry. Oh, he was obnoxious. He wasn't that aggressive, but he was just trying to get everybody pumped up all the time. And I'm like, dude, no one's gonna listen to you. If they want to cheer, they're gonna cheer. No one's gonna listen.
It's like, dude, you can't name a single player on that defense right now, but you're sitting here trying to make me cheer for them.
Also, it was so tight in that stadium yesterday. I did accidentally knock the sunglasses off this lady. She had them on the back of her head, and all I did I was reaching in my pocket. I think I was putting my left hand down and just knocked him right off her head. I was like, I'm so sorry.
Gosh,
it was tight, dude. I was like, I couldn't man spread at all. It was awesome. I loved it, but didn't get to man spread.
Yeah, I've never really gotten an altercation with somebody. Because I'm kind of even keel. Like, even though I'm kind of fuming and mad or pretty excited, you can't really tell. But, man, because I just like to sit and watch the game. Like, I enjoy just watching football. So, I don't have to yell. I clap and stuff like that. but I'm not a huge,
I can't.
kind of
Yeah.
in your face. You're a little bit more vocal than I am.
Yeah,
You're
see,
probably a
well,
lot more vocal than I am.
no, here's the thing. I'm in a similar boat as you. Like, I don't need to stand up and scream. I don't need to, like I got kind of in the same boat. Now, we score, I'm high-fiving everybody around me. If people want to hug around me, we're hugging. Like, we're celebrating.
Yeah.
But, like, when something bad happens, I don't scream it out. I'll usually lean over to whoever I'm at the game with and just be like, that was bad, or like, holy crap, what are we doing? It's more of just like the excitement, like, because I enjoy getting fired up in those moments, because like that's what I love most about Neyland Stadium.
Yeah.
Now, I'll talk some trash, but it's never like "F you, Florida." It's just like when I can't remember what Billy Napier did late, but I just screamed out, "I hope you enjoy your 3 years at Florida." like just like friendly trash talk like that. And then as they're coming off the field at half, Florida is number 94. Some white dude is trying to get just talking trash, trying to get the crowd pumped up. And I was just like, dude, you wouldn't have even been allowed to walk onto the team if your daddy didn't donate. So get in the tunnel and shut up. So like that kind of stuff. Like nothing like overly insulting, just trash talk a little bit. And I'm only usually yelling it loud enough for like the 6 people around me to hear it. Like if you're not in my general vicinity, you're not gonna hear it.
Yeah. I like to cheer when we score, when we do something big. Like I'm one of the first people. I have a great reaction time, so I'm one of the first people to stand up when we do something. But I'm not the person that like on third down where I'm stomping on the bleachers and saying the entire time.
I clap. I can't yell.
Yeah,
I
like
can't.
I've already talked so much throughout this entire day that I don't have much of a voice left. I have to save it for when we do something good.
Yeah, like I can yell like in short spurts, like I did when they run out of the tee. But like when when the play clock starts and the crowd starts going, I mean that's 30 seconds of sustained yelling if you yell the whole time.
Yeah, like that's for a student section.
Yeah, and like when it's starting to, when the play clock's starting to get down, I like to get involved a little bit and get a little, go defense. Here's when I will yell for a sustained amount of time. I love a good defense chant. You want to get me involved? Give me a defense chant. There's nothing better. Nothing better.
Huge defensive guy.
Huge defense guy. No, it was a good time in L. We had a great time. No, I didn't see any spats. No Florida fans either. A lot of times people in L will sell their tickets to Florida fans. One year I had a Florida fan sit in front of me in 15, 18, chomped in my face. Bad. But no, none in L around us now, so that was good.
Well, so the security guard came down there and was like, "Hey, do I need to get a cop?" And we're just like, I mean, if he doesn't stop, there's going to be a problem. Like if he puts on his hands on somebody else, there's going to be a problem. So then they had the cop ready, but didn't bring him down there, and he could just kind of after the security guy went over there and talked to him, he kind of stopped a little bit. Just being obnoxious toward other people. He was still obnoxious. He just wasn't toward other people.
Right.
It's like you're not a freaking student section leader. Like if you want to be that, go to A&M. Yeah.
I did. I don't know if they were making fun of me or if they were just laughing with me. I don't know if they knew I was kind of doing it for comedic purposes more than anything else. Like that video I posted on Snapchat of them running out of the tee. I just thought it was funny. That's why I did it at the Akron game. I'm going to continue to do it because I think it's funny. When I got done recording, the girls behind me, or one of the girls behind me, was like, wow, that was a lot. And then when I did the turnover video too, wow, same comment, wow, that was a lot. So, yeah, I don't know if they thought I was being like dead serious. I mean, yeah, part of me is doing it for like Tennessee, but the other part of me is like, this is a funny video. I'm going to make it. So, yeah, no, L was fun. There was and that's what I like to try to do too. It's just it was a South Carolina fan that one time, Florida fan that one time. If you're a Tennessee fan, like even there was someone being just annoying about a call, and Sam turned around and said something. I was like, Sam, they're not going to change their mind. Just stop. Like you're good.
Oh yeah, the people that don't know any of the rules.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which also,
especially it's worse at high school football games because you can always hear that person that's just like, dude, you're so wrong, and everybody else knows it except for you.
Right. There was the refs yesterday, the head ref on that goal line plays. He called there were 2 calls, both against Florida in that drive at the goal line in the north end zone, and I'm watching him on the jumbotron, and he pointed towards Tennessee, so he did personal foul, and I can't hear, I can only see it, personal foul, and he points to Tennessee, and I was like, what did we get a personal foul for? And then sure enough, we get a first down, mark it off forward. So I thought the jumbotron camera was flipped or something, but then someone in the north end zone told me no, he pointed at Tennessee's way both times.
He also said the kicking team had a block in the back. Like, what?
Yes. I was like, what are we? Well, all I couldn't at that point again could not see what he was doing. I just pointed towards Tennessee's way that time, and I was like, what did we do?
Yeah,
it was very confusing. And then he called a delay a game on the encroachment on the last drive on us or on them, but he called it on us.
Oh, okay.
But they did penalize them, but he called it on Tennessee.
Yeah, I was like, I turned to the guy behind me when he said that block in the back, and I was like, wouldn't that be the most Tennessee thing ever if we got a block in the back on a kickoff? And we kicked it off?
Yeah. So he did. I don't know what he said because they said they were going to fix the ref speakers, which they were better than they were last week. Cause
they fixed the speaker. They didn't fix the ref.
Well, I couldn't hear him in the south end zone.
Oh.
But at least I wasn't hearing, like, feedback. So that's okay with me. So all I could see him do was delay a game signal instead of the encroachment signal.
Yeah.
So. Refs suck. All of them.
Not a lot else in college football. Michigan had a pretty close game. Ohio State just beat the crap out of Wisconsin. USC barely beat Oregon State. Washington, I think, is pretty good.
Are we making that decision now?
Yeah, I think they're pretty good.
You know you got to wait. It's week 4.
I think they're good.
Okay, maybe.
I mean, that they beat the crap out of Michigan State. They beat the crap out of Stanford. I think they are
Michigan
pretty.
State got the crap beat out of them by Minnesota though too this week.
I agree. I know. But I'm just saying, like, I don't think the Pac-12 is just going to be won by Oregon or USC. I think Washington has something to say about it.
I'd be okay with saying that just because I just don't think USC turns out isn't all that great.
Yeah.
After getting every transfer ever known to man in college football.
Yeah.
Minnesota.
It does. When Oklahoma loses, it makes me feel a little. I feel pretty good inside.
Are we circling Minnesota, by the way? I thought they were frauds. Even after destroying Colorado, because Colorado sucks. Are we circling them now after that just dominating performance against Michigan State? Something about
they gotta beat some teams in the.
They do get Purdue this week, and then they get Penn State in 3 weeks.
Yeah, I just think if you're not top 3 or 4 in your conference, that you're just okay.
They don't have to play Ohio State though this year.
Who do they have to play?
So this is their schedule left: Purdue, Illinois, Penn State, Rutgers, Nebraska, Northwestern, Iowa, Wisconsin. I have not watched them play. I have only seen their scores. But if you are 4-0 and that's the only schedule you have left, you are thinking 12-0 is in your mind.
Yeah, well, let's see after how bad if they can beat Purdue and how bad they beat them. Maybe I change my mind, but really I'm circling Penn State.
No. I'm just saying circle Minnesota is like, hey, look at this team. Because like I said, if you're a good football team and that's your schedule left, you're thinking 12-0 is possible.
Yeah, you're thinking Big Ten championship and then get blown out by Michigan or Ohio State, whoever wins that
game. or win that game and go to the playoff and get beat by 40. That'd be fun.
Yeah, so either one, pick your poison.
I think the second option. I think my option's fun, more fun. It'd be hilarious if
Oregon beat Washington State. Washington State was beating them, and then they came back.
I don't even care. If you don't cover, I don't care. Good teams win, great teams cover. I don't care.
Ole Miss didn't have a great game against Tulsa. Lost that one.
So they did show scores, by the way, in the stadium. They showed that Ole Miss Tulsa score, and then they showed that replay. And as it's happening, I'm just like, me and Sam are laughing because we know they score, and everyone else is like on the edge of their seat.
Oh, and they cheer. It's like we already knew. It was probably like 15 minutes earlier.
Probably. They also tried to do a studio update in the middle of one of our offensive plays. Like, what are we doing? Jumbotron, get it together.
Did you see Lee Corso walking on the field yesterday?
No.
They're on the opposite side, but he walks through the end zone. Like
Shane,
in the middle of a
Bieber
play.
yelling at him?
I don't maybe. Maybe. Theo Vaughn and Caleb Presley wedding our coach. What do you think about that?
I did not like that we dumped Gatorade on Josh Heupel. Now that I found out it wasn't us and it just turned out to be some guys making funny content, I'm all in. That's hilarious.
I think it is hilarious. I think
I
just think it's weird. It would be like a lot different if it was like Big Cat did it at Wisconsin.
Right.
But like those two guys that like have like zero ties to Tennessee is
right.
It's hilarious.
It's funny.
But it's like, okay. I'm sure Josh I was like, who the hell?
They're probably not going to get sideline access anymore.
No, that's probably it. Yeah.
Also, I will not dump Gatorade on you, Josh Heupel, unless you beat Alabama, if you let me on the sideline.
Okay, yeah.
Actually, no, I won't dump it on you. Tony Vitello, you better be on watch, though. If Tennessee
yeah,
wins,
we've had Xander Sechrist at a tailgate. I think the next step is Tony Vitello.
Yeah. Hey, you want to convince some kids to come to Knoxville? Bring them by the more important issues tailgate. They'll have a good time. They'll come to Knoxville.
Yeah. Also, some other baseball players, Hunter and Tanner, came as well. Yeah, love that. So appreciate y'all coming by and getting some cookies, getting some food.
Speaking of all baseball, bat flip, all that stuff, Dylan Taylor, we didn't get a picture with you, so you got to come back.
Yep.
How's that sound?
Yeah, and Joe came and brought the gator head. That was pretty dope.
Dude, looking back, I should have. We had Ziploc baggies. I should have tried to take it in the stadium.
Dude, I had a lot of people. They're like, why didn't Joe ever come to y'all's tailgate? I'm like, he's on his way. Apparently.
He made an appearance, and he was college game.
I had to go to the front of the lot to make sure I found him. He was up like in the church.
His voice was gone before the game.
Yeah,
he was got done. Rowdy at the college.
He was all up in college game day. So
I just love that he was wearing a Home Depot vest and a Home Depot hat.
Like he had to be. I mean, he's Joey Boots. You don't get that name by just
we're not
tiptoeing around college game day. He's got to be all up in it.
He's boots on the ground. He had to get there.
Yeah.
Shout out to University Traditions too. I'm not wearing one of their hats right now. I wore it to the game again. Tennessee's 4-0 while I wear those hats. Season ticket holder right next to me. I don't know him other than just being neighbors in Neyland. And I see him walk in, and you should have seen the smile on my face. I was like, you got you one. Heck yeah. So, and I saw a bunch of them this week. So, shout out to University Traditions. Making me look good, making Neyland look good. I love it.
Most important. You want to get to our segments? You good? Anything else?
Yeah, most important would be great.
Let's go. Do you have one? Just right off the cuff here.
This one isn't gonna be popular. The more I thought about it, I like Bianca. Is it Blair?
Belair.
Bianca Belair. I like that college guest picker. College game day guest.
I thought she did a good job. I went back and watched some highlights. I thought I love that Pat McAfee sang Rocky Top. That was.
We got to teach him that chant though.
Did he woo?
It's great to be a Tennessee Vol and tear. It's great.
Oh, did he? I didn't see that. That's funny.
Also, oh my gosh, most important. So my childhood, one of the things I remember vividly when I was younger is no matter who we beat, we would leave the stadium, we'd walk through just the depths of the south end zone, which I don't know how often you've walked out of the east sideline and the south end zone. It's kind of dark and small and creepy and cramped. And everyone in there would be yelling, "It's great to be a Tennessee Vol." And it was awesome. It's one of my favorite memories. Well, recent history, you don't get that anymore. Because if you win, you beat Ohio by 3 or you lost to Florida. Last night, it's great to be a Tennessee Vol was going nuts. People were singing Rocky Top in the
Did Texas lose?
I don't want to talk about it. Actually, I do have another most important. I meant to share this during college football, so I'll share that. But dude, it was awesome. I started chanting it, and every time I started chanting it after like bigger wins, people just don't join in because I just don't think that passion's been there. Like Butch Jones and Jeremy Pruitt killed that passion. Josh Heupel's brought it back, and last night people were loving it. It was awesome. It's great to be a Tennessee Vol. Some students were trying to chant, "We want Bama," and I was like, "No, we don't. Shut up. We want LSU next. We'll talk about Bama later."
Yeah.
But it's great to be a Tennessee Vol is back because it.
What do you mean? We got to play the bye week next week.
Vol. We do got to play the bye week. Bye week's been a killer. Isn't
Yeah, it's
not
not
the helmet got us.
Yeah, it's not a lay down
it's certainly
like
not.
it used to be.
It is certainly
not. Mine is college game day signs.
Okay, let's hear the good ones. I saw some, but let's see what you got.
Well, one of mine, and this it was great because Tennessee won and Texas lost. And I just love, like, just people, like, we're playing Florida, but they're just okay with throwing a random shot at Texas. It says, "Welcome to the real UT. Texas sucks." And then they ended up, they sucked. So, great one. So I saw some other ones. The Tony Vitello one of him with his face on a naked guy that did the baseball team bring it? Maybe they didn't.
They didn't bring it. They just took a picture with it.
Maybe.
I wish they obviously put Tony Vitello's face on there. I wish they had somehow edited instead of a bearskin rug, it was a gator skin rug. That would have been icing on the cake.
Cool.
But it was great regardless.
It was definitely like just thought of like a couple, like maybe the day before. But,
I didn't even know it was a bearskin rug until today when I was looking at it, and I realized that's what it was.
Well, it's actually like it was on my body. So I knew it was a bearskin rug. But I love the sheets before, like, as the weekend gets here. Like in the 4 and in front row and stuff like that. So this is one, and it's funny to me. So whatever. If you don't think it's funny, that's on you. It says more U.S. citizens have been killed by UF's 08 football team than COVID falls by 90.
That's good. Someone was also wearing an Aaron Hernandez jersey at the Barstool. And it was like a recent, they had it customized, Aaron Hernandez, which I kind of hope it was a Tennessee fan. That would be hilarious.
Also, like, terrible on you.
I'm at work for a minute. Emily's bothering me.
Okay.
What are you bothering me?
So I have that's all my most importance, other than Tennessee just beating Florida. So
my last one is Texas Tech. Texas Tech stormed the field. Don't love that, but they did, and you did get a good moment out of it. First off, the guy that took the video, he's videoing himself. He falls down jumping onto the field. He starts to get up and run. Notices that the Longhorn mascot, not Bevy, he would have gotten murdered
Bevo.
Sorry, who's Bevy? Is that a mascot?
Bevy.
Bevo. Yeah. He was Bevy yesterday. He sucked. He gets Bevy. Bevo, not the live one, but the actual mascot. And he just, in his face, gives him a horns down.
Yeah, that was
awesome. It was awesome.
Love that. That was honestly the only reason why I knew they lost. Because I saw that video. Yeah, 3:30 games, they just you're so tired, you're making your way back to the stadium that you don't really get to see, other than those noon games that we watch maybe the first quarter of.
Yeah.
Just not a lot of football gets watched on game days.
Yeah, that's the only thing that stinks about 3:30. But I'd rather be at a Tennessee tailgate, at the More Important Issues tailgate specifically, than watching football, personally.
Yeah. I do have one more most important. Tony Vitello did not get arrested.
Did he go streaking?
Can't confirm. Don't know. But he didn't get arrested. I know that. Or he didn't get arrested until maybe after the game. So he got to see it. I guess that was his main goal, was seeing the game. So
I loved that him and Grant Williams, they just wanted to pump up the crowd when they were announced.
Yeah.
I love that. All Vol, baby.
Yeah, they got – so I don't know if you noticed this, but when Bianca Belair got announced, yeah, she tore her hair. Did you notice who the person next to her was? and he did not get announced.
Yeah, he did.
Christian Coleman got announced?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not hear
it. They announced him first.
Okay.
I don't think, again, speakers are not been great. I feel like I only caught the way I know is because they mentioned a U.S. Olympian.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's how I know that they announced him.
So did they announce him at the same time? Like
no, so they'll announce him, let him cheer, and then announce.
Okay.
Like that's how they did.
I just didn't
Also,
notice a big cheer for that.
Who did I think Jordan? Who did I was like? So Jordan McCray was it right? Yeah, Jordan McCray was there.
And James Springer.
Yeah, and so they were walking out, and I was like, wait, who was it? Oh, he looks like God, who do I think it was? They said Vols in the NFL, and I was like, wait a minute, is that? God, who does he look like? Now it's gonna bother me. Oh my gosh, he looked like whoever I was thinking for a split second.
Josh Malone, Josh Palmer.
It might have been
Alante.
It's one of the Joshes, I think. It's not Palmer, so it must be Malone. But I was like, is that Josh Malone? Maybe it was that. But then I was like, then I saw Jaden Springer, and I was like, no, that's basketball players. But they just said the NFL. He doesn't look like Josh Malone. I don't know who I thought he looked like for a split second.
Back to fails. Apparently, Arizona State staffers were leaking information to help opponents and get Herm Edwards fired.
That can't be true. I can't be true. I think like someone from Arizona or someone from other teams in the Pac-12 are saying that so that Arizona State becomes even more. Wouldn't you say that? It's an easy way to not get coaches there and just create dysfunction.
I mean, did that not kind of happen at Tennessee with Jeremy Pruitt?
No. Oh, it happened in the early 2000s.
Hey, somebody was spilling the beans.
There's a story, I can't remember it now completely off the top of my head. Somebody copied Tennessee's playbook and sent it to Spurrier. I think it was a GA. Yeah, I don't know.
With Jeremy Pruitt, somebody gave the information out.
Oh, I don't remember that coming out, I don't think.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, do you mean about the investigation? Or do you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if
Well, I mean, somebody had to bring it up beforehand.
Right.
And we kind of expected it to be Jimmy Brumbaugh because he got fired in the middle of the season, but somebody was leaking information, and that's how the investigation got started.
Yeah, I think it was more about. I think this one was like game day information.
Okay.
Because Herm Edwards was already under investigation by the NCAA for recruiting violations.
Right.
So I think this was game day information, the way I understood it.
Okay.
Because it said he was leaking it to opposing teams.
Oh, okay. Well, that's different. So
I just don't think.
Still, that's a fail. Like, if you have people willing to do that, you're running a terrible program.
Landon, me and you are best friends, and if we're coaching different teams across country and you give me information about it, you're never going to coach for me. You're a snake.
Well,
like
we're not
you're burning jobs. Do what?
Then I guess we're not that great of friends then.
You would hire me?
I mean, you would be on my staff anyway. You wouldn't be on an opposing staff.
Aren't. Good. This is a hypothetical.
No,
Good
this is
God.
not. This is real life, Caleb. This isn't no GTA.
If that's true, the only way it's true is if the person doing it was not even stupid, delusional. Which, I guess those people exist, so maybe it is true. But it just sounds too absurd to me. For multiple reasons. Not just because, I can't believe this would happen. Just because, here's another thing. Why would opposing coaches admit that?
Yeah.
Aren't you admitting to, like, cheating, pretty much?
Yeah. You think?
Very dumb. Very dumb. My fail is probably most important. I just thought it was absolutely hilarious. The Virginia Tech guy, when they went to a quarter break, have you seen this? I tweeted it. And he flips off the camera. He immediately realizes my mom and grandma are watching at home.
Oh, crap.
So, yeah, that was awesome. I love that.
Yeah, I love the instant regret.
Yeah.
on something.
Also,
it happens to everybody.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, thankfully I've less regret with age, but yeah, definitely happens. Thought I had another one.
I have one more that I'll go ahead and.
Yeah, go do that.
It's I guess the old age of high school football, like when we were in high school, and just how big players have gotten in high school. This is a high school football player.
Oh my, sign him. I don't care how good he is. Sign him. That's a bus guy. Travel squad, everything. Sign him. Where is he at? Texas, Georgia?
I have no clue. It's just he's somewhere in the United States, but he looks like that. Like, what in the world? How does this happen? What does his parents look like? What did they feed him? I need to know secrets. And when I was in college, I mean, I couldn't even. He probably freaking curls what I squat.
Yeah, that's a big dude.
Jesus.
So why is that a fail though? Just because he's probably
it's
not
just
actually
a,
in
it's
high
just
school?
it's more of a fail on like college or high school football programs, like before all the training and stuff really like took off.
Yeah, that too, and probably on birth certificates are probably on the hot seat a little bit because apparently they're easy to fake. Because he's got to be 22, right? At least.
You would think.
I don't have another fail. I think the last thing I'm going to leave the show with, though, is...
I love that.
I forgot to
Did you
tweet
tweet it?
I forgot.
You forgot? Oh.
Yeah. Well, I did. Technically, I did schedule it.
You did.
Technically, I scheduled it. But
technically,
also,
you already tweeted it, but yes.
I wrote... You saw that I wrote schedule.
You did.
I loved your tweet, too. Did I retweet or just like it? Okay, I did.
Which one?
The Heupel and Napier.
Oh, yeah.
And then I loved that Bill Vol guy's response to you, and it's just Heupel smiling ear to ear. I love that.
Yeah.
Dude, if Heupel doesn't legitimately love this place, he's the greatest actor and salesman of all time.
Yeah, I love that freaking.
So,
man, how fun is this, man? He just seems like. Oh, my wife told me this today.
Guy.
Yeah, she was like, he just seems like he's just having a blast. I was like, he really does.
Right.
Like there's not a single time in the media, and Tennessee's a top 10 team. They're winning. You know, maybe it's not like that all the time, but it genuinely seems like he is enjoying every single moment that he's had since he got to Knoxville.
Yeah, we'll find out when the losses come, because they will. It's part of football. We'll find out kind of how that media goes. But I mean, even last year, like nothing alarming where you're like, why did you say that?
Yeah.
And I like that he doesn't like berate media members because I think not that media can't ask stupid questions, because it does happen often, but there are questions that the media has to ask because it's their job. Like it's why they're there. For instance, the injury. We know what he's going to say, but you have to ask. You have to. So I love like when it comes up, he just, kind of chuckles and he's like, you just ask Wes. Like,
yeah.
It's funny. And he doesn't berate them for it. He knows they have to ask it. He knows he has to respond in some way. So yeah, it's why you're there. It's part of the job. One of the stupid things you have to do, but
yeah.
No media member wants to waste their question on that because they know the answer. But if they leave there and no one asks that, you can't do that. So I'm glad he doesn't. He doesn't go Shane Beamer on him.
And, I don't know if he's just like, I know yesterday was just a huge day for recruiting in general. You had some official visitors here, David Hobbs, Boston Lang. Apparently Lang's already got some crystal balls headed toward Tennessee's way. But it was a big one for those 24s. A lot of commits were here. Some of them, that was their first game in Neyland Stadium. So really got to enjoy that. And, I don't know if that's always kind of on his mind is just recruiting, but him saying that, I mean, how does a kid not say like, man, that would be a cool coach to play for?
Right. 100%.
After he just after he just beat a top 20 team, and put up, almost 600 yards total offense. So it's got to resonate well with recruits.
100%. And so me and Landon probably won't get this opportunity. It'd be cool if we did. If someone else does, I want this question to be asked for Josh Heupel, but I'm asking you to kind of what you think the response would say what he would say, and you have to ask it this way. Tennessee wasn't Josh Heupel's dream job. There's no way. He's from North Dakota, South Dakota, one of the Dakotas.
Yeah.
Dakota.
Dakota.
Not an SEC guy growing up. Sure, he watched some of it. Went to Oklahoma. Coached at Oklahoma, Missouri, UCF. No Tennessee ties. No real SEC ties other than 1 year at Missouri. So it's not his dream job. But looking back, knowing what you know now, would you call the Tennessee situation or Tennessee your dream job? I feel like he has to say yes. And I'm not saying because of the orange and white or because of the Tennessee, but when you come into this environment, when you get to do a cool vol walk like Akron, and Tennessee somehow tops Akron's vol walk with Florida, when you go to a bowl game and, it's going to happen soon, and you can't get off the bus at the stadium because they can't get through the fans, and you're going to have to do a vol walk there. When you get a Checker Neyland, when you get a crowd that cheers for – it was so loud after the game. Like, well after the game. It was so loud.
It was still checkered. Like, people weren't leaving. Yeah.
You get moments like that. LSU, I think you're going to be impressed with the fans. I know there's some impressive road games last year, too. Would you call this your dream job knowing what you know now? I don't know how. I know what he kind of has to say, but I'd be interested to see how he answered it. Because I feel like, yes. I think you could even take the Tennessee name off of it and just go, this situation, knowing what you know now. How could you not?
Well, and he was comfortable at UCF. It wasn't like they were trying to get rid of him. It wasn't like, Tennessee was just this powerhouse at the time either. I mean, look at the roster he took over was terrible.
Yeah.
But there's that.
He could have waited for a better job.
There was a. You go back and watch Tennessee in the early years. You watch Neyland Stadium. In those games, you're like, oh man, I want to get back to that. That's gotta be it had to be his goal.
Right.
But man, he got to see it up close and personal yesterday. And maybe you got a little bit of something in Ole Miss last year, but there wasn't it wasn't like yesterday.
It's better with a win because while Tennessee fans, myself included, are crazy, it's crazy in the best way when Tennessee wins.
Mm-hmm.
In the best way. I mean, we thought we'd be some of
You did something that Jeremy Pruitt couldn't do. Butch Jones did it once. Dooley didn't. Kiffin didn't. I mean, you did something yesterday that a lot of coaches here haven't done or only done, a handful of times. So,
yeah. And if I'm Tennessee's recruiting staff, anybody on an official visit, Saturday morning, any game, we're starting in Market Square, we're eating breakfast, and then I'm putting you on a golf cart and we're driving from Market Square all the way to Ag Campus. Because the game day environment from 5 a.m. on was insane.
Yep.
If you want to play somewhere where it matters all the time, if you want to play somewhere where you can make some money and matter to the fans, come to Tennessee.
Yep. We were there dark to dark yesterday.
Yeah, we were.
So
literally sun up to sundown.
Yep.
And it was worth every second.
Yep. So, that's kind of all I got. Props to Tennessee. Florida is now 0-6 against Tennessee's baseball, football, and basketball programs in the year 2022. We're back. Guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for coming to the tailgate. Tony Vitello, your invitation is open. So
make plans for Alabama, everybody.
Yeah. It's on you to make it there. We're going to be there. All you got to do is show up. Guys, thanks again. Go Vols. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.